Obviously, I've played them already twice this year,
Yeah.
two very different settings, but
Yeah.
big matchup for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously another chance and opportunity to be here at home and play in front of the home crowd. Another opportunity to continue to push where we believe we're at. And again, like you said, we've played them now 3 times, including the preseason match in Colombia. So continuing to take our learnings kind of early on from having played against them, and areas that we feel like we can continue to expose them, and areas that we feel like we can continue to stop their threats and their attacks. Questions?
Gotham likes to vary their starting 11, kind of just actual people and positions and their subs. Does that pose a particular challenge when you prepare for a team like that?
I think you're just preparing for any kind of circumstances. You're preparing for any type of lineup, and you're preparing for any type of subs to possibly impact the match for them. Obviously, they play they're a very respectable side. And I think for us, we're just prepping for what those trends are given who's on the pitch. Are there some trends to the way that they're playing tactically? And I think for us, that's where our focus goes to.
And Gotham's a pretty physical team, pretty physical match last time. Is there any extra preparation to do to kind of get your players ready for what's probably going to be a physical match on a hot day at noon?
Yeah. No, I think any opportunity and any chance that we have to play a team in this league, it usually is a pretty physical game in itself. So I think just in general, prepping for that is a part of the everyday works. Yeah.
So we thought Kirsten Wright might be back on the team sheet last game. She was still on the availability. So is there any update on her?
No, she's still day by day at this point. Yeah.
And then Jalen got a couple minutes at the end.
Mhm.
Is she working her way back?
Yeah, she's progressing her way back. Obviously last game available for limited minutes, but progressing her way back, and obviously very excited for her to be back in the squad.
And then there's 5 games until the summer break and summer tournament start,
Yes.
4 of which are against teams currently below racing on the table. As a coaching staff, how far ahead are you looking at potential points that could be picked up, or is it just game by game?
Yeah, it's game by game. Obviously, when we talk about getting ahead of, obviously this one after Gotham is very quick, right? The turnaround's incredibly quick. So obviously where we have to get ahead and what we have to do in order to do our jobs to the best of the ability. There's areas that we always need to continue to be ahead, but what we do is what we create for them is the game by game basis, and it's the same for us. We can't look too far ahead of the what ifs. We need to take care of business now. And so I think for us, it's getting ahead in the sense of where we need to get ahead and understanding what ahead looks like. But for us, our focus is game to game, just as we ask of the players.
It's Ollie game this Saturday. Let's
Yes.
spend some time at the Ollie Center this week. Anything particular that you learned that you didn't know?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I learned so much. A guided tour. I was just completely fascinated. Obviously incredibly inspiring person that we are so excited to celebrate here. What he means to the city and what he means to the world is truly touching. So for us to be able to support him, to use his legacy and hopefully continue to carry that on with hopefully a very good performance. But very excited for the city and what he means to the city, and again, what he means to the world. So yeah,
And
I learned a lot.
and it was like kind of came and talked to the players.
Yes.
So what was her message?
Yeah, I think her message was fantastic. She kind of narrated this, the fight against, if I can remember, Foreman back in 1974, and kind of painted this entire, alluded to what everything looked like leading up to that fight and when this fight was supposed to occur to when the fight actually occurred, and how he stayed there, integrated himself with the people, just kind of showcased who he was as a human being on top of the incredible athlete that he was. And talked about the ideas going into it and playing someone of that caliber. Obviously, he wasn't the favorite in that particular match. And discussed kind of what he overcame throughout the match and kind of his ideas, his concepts, and his belief. And then obviously who he was. They talked about after winning that match. It was very, very much so stuck into my mind. And I think, well, for a long time, they talked about media trying to get a hold of him. And several hours after the match, he was found on a stoop doing magic tricks for children. And they didn't know who was having more fun, Ali or the children themselves. And it just showcases who he is. Somebody that just enjoys people and is very fond of embracing people and having, a good interaction.
The racing players do a really good job of that, speaking to the integrating kind of with the crowd and with the fans. Do you think that's an important part of being an athlete?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think obviously, I think the club embraces their fans very much. So I think the more support that we can continue to get allows us to kind of fuel off of the fans throughout every match. But I definitely think we embrace the community massively. We want to be a part of this community in every way, shape, and form. And I think it's really important.
Anything else for Bev?
Good.